Hello, 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 and welcome back to Exceed, the fighting system. I've find myself in a match with Matt Fnorder. Thank you so much for joining and being willing to be recorded. Unfortunately, he doesn't have voice enabled, so I'm gonna have to be typing with him, and I'll probably be doing the talking for both of us, or at least for me. I'll be playing S3 stuffs. So let's see. Trying to showcase S3 for now, but I'm okay with whatever. So yeah, let's see. Who to play. So I would like to repeat my run with Ken. I feel like I learned quite a bit last game and I want to give it another crack. But I also kind of want to keep showing off more characters. I'm kind of torn between those two goals. I think... Let me do Zangief. I haven't played a lot of Zangief before. I've done some, and in real life, obviously. But more often, the people who I play with IRL want to play Zangief. So it'll be interesting to get to play as him. And I have been taught some keyboard shortcuts that I'm trying to remember now. I think if I hold a card, I can use the mouse scroll wheel to spin it. Yep. Looks like he's going with Sagat. So let me modify the state of my card to RS Sagat. It's interesting. So Sagat, as a character in general, doesn't want to be... He's willing to be in melee with you sometimes, but... Oh, what is that? Oh, never mind. So he's taking Bison. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was Sagat. Let's change the state to Bison. Bison. Oh, he did it for me. That was nice of him. I can change his state if he so needs to Zangief. Yeah, he got it. So Bison we know from my first game on here. So Zangief is going to be the newest character to you. The big thing to understand about Zangief's playstyle is he does a lot of damage up close. His core ability is +1 power and +1 speed when critting at melee range. Obviously is really cool. So given that, I'm going to be looking for cards that either let me get in close, especially against a guy like Bison whom I want to charge down anyway. Oh yeah, and a lot of my abilities as Zangief obviously have close on them to help me get in. Double Flying Power Bomb early on is a nice slow move that will let me close to range somewhat. I think I want to keep Dive, just get in there immediately. Cross for its run, looks good. So I'm going to pitch Siberian Blizzard and block. Or I can use block to build up early gauge. Advance 1 and draw 3 cards. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to mull these two. Okay, off we go. This is not the card I want at far range. I want that at close range. Apologies for delays. Am commentating as well. Parry Flying Power Bomb. So he suspected a Flying Power Bomb, and sure enough, he is correct. I have one. So parry means name a card your opponent must discard a copy or reveal that they have none. Well, I have one, so I lose it. It's like he knew that was a bad thing for me to hit him with early. He draws up, I do not. I think I do dive here, actually. Immediately getting into range has all kinds of advantages. Perfect. So I'm going to take more damage here, but it's going to work out for the better. So I dive in. I strike for 5, which he will take, and then this goes to my gauge, but he counters me with the sweep. 6 damage at range 1, 2, and 3, so I'll take all that right now, and then I lose a card from hand. There goes a super. I am not happy to see that gone. But no matter. With those out, I will shuffle up my hand so that he doesn't get any information off the arrangement of the cards, and it's his turn. I really wanted to get the gauge so that I could start critting at melee. So Zangief in melee, very happy. Let's see what he just did. Stun immunity and all his attacks gain critical. That is not good. That is not good. I could do a lot of things here. I could flying power bomb. Nothing he does would prevent it. I want to save cross for chasing him for when he inevitably runs. I think I actually want to atomic super here. If I atomic super, I probably hit. Speed 6 is pretty decent at melee. But if he goes faster than me, which he might... I mean, a lot of Bison's attacks are fast, and I am at melee range. But I would get the +1 speed on account of my Zangief ability, so that is reasonable. Let's do it. With a crit. Crit strike. Alright, reveal. He did use a slower attack than me by a ways. So I'm going to hit him for 5 damage. And then all the cool stuff happens. First things first, because of my crit, this goes here and this goes here. And then I chase him into the corner. Even if he strikes into me, I have a much faster strike available to me should I want it. So with that, he is going to hit me, the stun immunity hits back for 5. And prevents me from locking him in the corner, which was my goal. And gets him very far away from me, which is also his goal. So that exchange did not work to my advantage after all. I'm going to need to draw for turn pretty soon, because at this range I'm not doing well, which will allow him to gauge up freely, which is what he wants. I don't have a good way to chase him right now. Let's see, I can pull when I go excessive, if I go excessive, but that's a lot of gauge. Oh, whoa, whoa, he is crit striking from a range. I have no idea what he has that could hit me from that far. Advance 3, so Psycho Crusher would potentially do it. And then on hit, advance or retreat 3 and draw a card. So I'm betting you that's what it is. Nothing else he has would hit from that range. Head Stomp? Head Stomp wouldn't. No. Advance or retreat 3 on Devil Reverse only happens if you hit. Slide and kick closes 2, but it won't give him the range. So, I'm betting this is a Psycho Strike. And if that's the case, I need to counter it somehow. My options are to crit the stun immunity. I think the best answer is this, ironically. He's going to move to here. So if I use cross to run to retreat 1, if I use that to... If he does this, he's going to dive in, hit, and retreat safely. So yeah, this is the best answer. It's a defensive play. I go first. I swing and miss, and then run away 1 square. He dives in and hits nothing. And, of course, loses his card and his crit energy without dealing damage. which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, so now I have to decide how badly I want to do this. If I close 2 and hit him, that's awesome. He has 1 card to respond with, and it's 50-50 if it's anything good practically at this point. We would both be empty-handed. If I use the crit on this, it's even better, because no matter what he does, he can't hurt me. But I just can't play like that. I'm going to draw. I don't have it in me to go all out like that. Okay, so he is boosting. Reveal your hand, which is empty. Add the top 3 cards of your discard pile to your gauge. So he's going to gauge up massively, but have no cards in hand. He's probably prepping to do this. But that doesn't let him draw much, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure why he did that. I guess just getting gauge for free is always good. He still has 1 card, just lots of gauge. Here I finally have something I can actually do something with. If I could get to melee range, I would have a slow, non-stunnable attack. I'm not actually a fan of using this to strike him, and I don't have even close to enough gauge. I think I am going to try my luck with this. Getting into melee, I have Grasp to fall back on later. So yeah, we're going to attempt the raw tag here. This is a random card off the top of his deck. It's not something he's been holding on to as a counter. I could also just boost my power by 2. That would make it much more likely that this would stun him out of anything he does. No, the speed is too low. Yeah. I have card advantage. I'm going to do this. Strike. Okay, that's not good. So he is using my strategy that I just used. He's going to swing to block, or swing to run, after which I would close 2 but swing and miss. And it's his turn. He's going to have to draw in the situation. Most likely he's going to discard gauge to draw lots maybe, or I don't know. Nope, just draw 2. So he's prepping for a free Bison ult probably. I can't afford to... So yeah, we're going to use this as a boost. Advance 1. Advance 1 and draw 3 cards. And of course, 1 more for turn. I really needed something back. So he is building power. I'm clearly not good enough at this game to understand why people use this as a power boost. I'm going to have to try and learn that, because to me that just seems like a wasted play almost. I like this. I like a lot of these, but I don't know how many use them effectively. I need to get in closer. If I boost my range by 1, this hits from range 2. But that's still not what I need. If I boost my armor, I can negate the value of his extra damage. He's probably prepping an ult, maybe, or prepping to do an ult, which does more damage. I have no clue. I have a block in hand. I'm going to draw 2 and be willing to discard gauge. Discard more cards to power up a block. Okay. I could advance 1 and draw 3, and that would refill my hand nicely. And given that that's a possibility, I really want to start hitting him soon. Spinning Pile Driver is pretty sweet. Double Lariat is pretty sweet. It's got the right range. It's Zangief's classic get-in move. I think what I do is I use Banishing Flat to put me in Double Lariat range, and then hit him with it. He has enough cards to have an answer by now, but this has so much armor in it, it's not going to get stunned out. No, I think I just boost this, honestly. I think that's what I do here. Yeah, that's what I do. So, key gauge. build my own gauge. That's the right play. Finally, something to move in with. Assault would be beautiful. Even if he dodges around or hits me back, it gets me in, and that's what counts. Okay, he looks like he's bisoning. So he's got lots of gauge now, which is good for him. I'm going to have to ignore his gauge, basically. There's no other way to do this. We're going to just attack into him. Blind Assault. It's almost certainly going to be outplayed by a full hand of options like he has, but it also puts me in range to start doing nasty things to him. It's going to be unlikely that he has a way around it. Yep, the issue wasn't reading the move. The issue was figuring out what the response is going to be. Let's see what the response is. Boop. Perfect, just as I hoped. It will let me get in, and let me gain advantage, which is what I really want in this situation. That goes to gauge, but then I take the counterattack of 6, and I lose a card. Oh, +2 from the power boost. I hadn't factored that in. That +2 actually hurt pretty badly. No, I really wanted the spinning pile driver, but now I have enough to ult at melee range. So it remains my turn. If I ult in melee, I'm taking a big chance that he has no way to get away. 9 damage is not nearly enough to win outright with. I could use an EX grasp, or sorry, a critted grasp to hit for a little bit more damage. Or sorry, to guarantee the speed advantage, but it wouldn't actually guarantee enough damage to do me any good. I'd rather save this for an interrupt later, potentially. So instead, I'm thinking we just draw 2, honestly. What's left in our deck? We got Focus coming up. We have my other Assault. We've got both my sweeps. Got a lot of damage coming up, actually. And I can use the boost on this potentially in the future when he tries to get away again. So, yeah, let's boost. Boost and draw 1. I made a mistake. I meant to save that for an interrupt and I forgot, but it doesn't matter. It worked out. I got my interrupt back. I really want to hurt him. It's 11 to 16. I have the advantage otherwise. Ooh. This is very awkward for me because he's going to know my whole hand. Not something I wanted to have happen. He does have the gauge to capitalize on it. He could name a card in the... Okay, that's unfortunate. That was literally what I was hoping that he wouldn't have. Or that he wouldn't call out. But now that he's gotten rid of that, I have to decide what my response is going to be. I have a bunch of low speed response potentials, or I can use a really powerful attack that may or may not work. He's obviously banking on a quick attack of some variety. I say obvious, but I mean, I really don't know. I think his second cross is still available. Let's make sure I'm searching his discard. Yep. Both his blocks are gone. Nightmare Booster is gone. 1 cross, 1 grasp. Both sweeps, dive. So he's got a wide possible array of options here. My guess is it's a safe move, one of Bison's that's going to move him 1 or 2 spaces afterwards. So let's see what kind of safe moves Bison could use to get away from me. Second Psycho Crusher, which lets him retreat potentially afterwards. Sliding Kick he has both of. Oh, he didn't crit it though, which makes it less probable. because all of those crits give power. Devil Reverse, retreat up to 2. Without the crit, it's less likely an ult. So that would be a Monster Bluff. Naming graph suggests you're going for the speed advantage. Cross is certainly possible. So that's kind of where we're at. I could spinning pile driver, but if I'm convinced that he's going for speed, then I don't need to use a slow counter. I need to use a fast attack. I could top deck. Statistically, it's something that works in melee. If I'm convinced, entirely convinced that he's going for grasp, this is perfect, because no, it's bad. He could throw me 2 and then I would only come back 1. The more I think about it, the less confident I am. I'm pretty sure that without a counter to grasp, I have 2 focuses. My best bet is to wild strike, and crit or not to crit, that is the question. Don't crit it. It's probably not going to hit. Alright, go ahead. Oh, it was focus, the one thing that counters grasp that I was hoping for. Yes! All my reads were right, and I just lucked into one of my 2 focuses. Okay, so the reason this is so good is his fast attack will hit for only 1 under my armor, but my bonus damage will all go through, and I'll draw a free card afterwards. Because this says it can't move me, I stay in melee range, which is where I want to be. He's down cards from using his Shadaloo boost. I'm up cards from having not done so. I would love to use the Ultimate Atomic Buster and just win the game right here. I don't know that it would work, because I can't crit it. I don't have that much power. I think I'm better off using this. There's 1 cross in his deck that's at speed 6. He would need to be speed 6 to beat this if it's critted. And there's only 1 cross left in his deck that's that fast. That's my card. All of his other moves are slower except Nightmare Booster, and Nightmare Booster doesn't hit at this range. Though if he did use Nightmare Booster, it would get him out of the dilemma. So, and I win on speed ties, so this 4 boosted to 5 is phenomenal. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. With the +1 power, it becomes pretty damaging. It becomes 6 damage. And he's probably going to wild swing, because it's very unlikely he happens to have the ult that he really wants. Lots and lots of crits. Alright, let's flip them. Boom! Best counter ever. I got lucky. But yeah, the bonus damage plays because Zangief, 6 damage, all of it pierces his armor and guard. This goes to my thing, this goes to my other thing, and he loses a card at random, which was his last card in hand, which just so happened to be his Psycho Punisher, which would have let him teleport away. So I'm very happy with how that went. He's very low on health, any hit scores a win, and he's out of cards. That's actually pretty smart. He knows he can't afford to face me face up. But he doesn't know as I have reach. So I can potentially add 1 to my range, then strike, then use Atomic Buster, and deal massive, massive overkill. But you don't win by overkill, you win by just enough kill. Siberian Blizzard, close 1, draw 2, with armor. He has one random card to counter it with that may or may not be what he needs. Probably isn't, because luck can't be that good every time. But it has no stun immunity. Let's play it safe. There's no need to get greedy. Boost effect. We're going to advance 1 and draw 3. So advance 1, draw 3, +1 for turn. I'm back in melee, and I have every tool that I could possibly use at my disposal. He's continuing to burn gauge to walk away, because he knows being in melee with me gives me +1 speed, effectively. I could just cross here, and that would probably be enough. Cross, speed 6, 3... Oh, no, it's not enough damage. I could name a normal. He probably has at least one normal I could guess in his hand by now, just given how little deck he has. Oh, he's got a lot of deck. Need to be careful, but not too careful. I think focus is reasonable here. It's enough damage to kill him. It's a safe move in that you can't really damage me back. It covers a pretty broad range, and I get a card back if I made a mistake. It's not exciting, but I don't want exciting. I want to close out the match. He'll probably burn a block if he has one. I can also use Zangief Succeed pretty safely right now. That is not what I wanted to see at all. A boosted Nightmare Booster is going to deal a reasonable amount of damage. He's going to burn most of his gauge to do it, but 6 damage is quite a bit. Also, he's going to force me to miss no matter what because of his crit, which is what's going to keep him alive. And on top of all that, I will be taking some damage. Reduced by the armor, mind you, but still taking a 4. My move does go off. The 4 doesn't pierce my 5 guard, so I will get a draw card afterwards, but this goes to the discard because of his ability. So what is he doing here? It looks like he is continuing to just make sure he doesn't ever get in melee with me. It looks like he drew 2 cards by moving 1. I just want to make sure that was an accident. Or not. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, that was just an accident. So now I can be fairly confident that he is out of options or running lower on options. I'm tempted to actually use the cross I have now that I've burnt his quick reaction option. But the thing is, cross doesn't kill him. It just deals 3 damage and puts me way out of range, which is less than ideal. I want to close right now. This is a tricky position because nothing here I have closes fast enough. I think I will make an attempt at an assault and just try to retain advantage that way. Ideally, I would want to be in melee, crit it, and then it's a 6-speed assault, but I'll take what I can get right now. If I can close to melee, I can crit the Buster and win, even if this is a block or whatever. Alright, let's see. Yep, I go faster, I go first, and I hit for the lethal. Bang! So Zangief is a monster in melee. I'm surprised. Even with a full hand of options, run into any sure things. Yes, And I had 2 copies. Mold for something to close with. And kept a cross for the run effect. But without crit. In this game, I burnt a key charge just to get an early crit. So he's talking about that point where trying to play it safe instead of raw tagging just to close out. I did have cross, but 3 damage was too few. So I did something slower and more secure instead. The lucky focus wild swing turned the game. I read your grasp pretty effectively, but didn't have that answer. So lucky. I love how we both used a defensive cross as well. Didn't you exceed? So I'm curious about this in particular. There was a point where he had 4 or 5 cards and could easily have Bison exceeded. Anywho, I could go on chatting with him for a bit yet, and I intend to. And of course, if you are watching this later, thank you again for the game match in order, and thank you for letting me record. This was an interesting run with Zangief. I gotta say, I think this guy's kit is very, very powerful and counters my usual paradigm of play, which is get in there and trade up for speed. He can go slow and powerful, and he honestly scares the opponent out of range. His +1 speed on crit and melee turns 5s to 6s, meaning that unless your opponent has a 7, it's not good enough. Or it turns a 6 to a 7, so even a 7 isn't good enough because it's your turn. It's kind of nutty, actually. And thank God it's restricted to melee only, or it'd just be broken. I've got more thoughts on Zangief, but honestly, this was like my first time playing him, second time playing. First time on the computer, second time total, because I played him on the table once. I need more games under my belt before I can really say. So I'm going to cut the recording for now and go from there. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.